Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new episode of StarCraft II Study. Today we are going to be talking about the very basics of Heart of the Swarm, and it's going to be the in-game settings. Now I know this is kind of a boring subject, but it's kind of pretty damn important because, well, you don't want to be playing with terrible settings. So there's not much to talk about. Let's just go straight into the settings that I am using, so you can take a look at what I am using and you can actually compare it to what you are using. So here we go. Okay, here we are in the actual settings of StarCraft II. When you go to menu and go to options, you will come in all the settings of StarCraft II that it currently has. And as you can see, there are a bunch of new things in Heart of the Storm, such as, I believe, physics is new, anti-aliasing, and there's all kinds of stuff that is new. But in general, when we talk about graphics and textures, I would advise you to play on low. Like, there's no real reason why you want to be playing on, like, anything higher than low. Because when you think about it, it has the least clutter of all the graphic settings that are out there. And besides having the least clutter, it will still show you all the most essential parts of the game. Now, when I'm playing a game of StarCraft II, I am not admiring the graphics. However, when I'm making YouTube videos, I usually, I put those up on Ultra and Extreme. In general, when you're playing the game yourself, I would definitely advise you to play on low. When we go to sound, I currently actually disable the enable music button, and I also disable the ambient sound. Now the ambient sound is like the background noise that you pretty much hear 100% of the time, and it's kind of annoying. When you turn it off, it actually is a lot quieter, and you will really only hear the stuff that you want to be hearing. So what I'm doing is basically just having all the voices up of all the interface things that are going on inside of the game. When my units are under attack, for example, I know exactly what is going on, but I don't have like the ambient sounds that nobody really cares about. Also, the enable music, you know, it has some StarCraft II music in there, but I personally, I prefer listening to my own music much over the StarCraft II ones. Except if I maybe would be playing Terran, but, you know, the Terran music is awesome. Okay, next up, voice. Voice chat, I don't use that, so I don't really know. I personally just disable it. As far as control goes, now this is one of the more important tabs right here. Mouse sensitivity, I stick it at 51%. A long time ago on Team Liquid, there was actually a thread up that showed that having a unrounded number, so let's say 51 versus 50, actually gives you a little bit more mouse accuracy. And now, I'm just using the 51% right here just because people say that is awesome, so I would advise you to do the same. Now besides this, there's also one important thing right here, which is scrolling. You want to up the mouse scroll speed to much higher than its standard is. Like, I believe the standard is around right here on 40% or so. I much prefer to have around 70%, so as soon as I hit the edge of the screen, it will actually start scrolling all around and you actually are where you're at, where you want to be as soon as you possibly can. Now, I might actually mess around with this a little bit more myself and maybe get it to like 80 or maybe even 90%. And, you know, those are really important settings. The 40% stuff is just way too slow for my liking. Now, next up, gameplay. Those are also pretty damn important. First of all, we have obviously the game timer. The game timer is crucial because it helps you, it helps you figure out all the timings that are going on in the game when you have to take gases and all that kind of jazz. And I would definitely not advise you to ever play without the game timer. Besides that, I would also take a look at the build grid. The build grid is basically a grid that shows up as soon as you start throwing down buildings. So let's say, for example, you want to be throwing down a hatchery. You will actually see a little grid in which your building will fit, so you can put it at the most ideal location. Next up, there are a bunch of things right here. For example, the new one is obviously enable starting worker rally. Now, normally at the start of the game, you want to always have your workers mining as fast as you can, and usually there's a little bit of a delay. But one more thing that we actually have to take a look at is the show unit live bars. You want to be always having these on. I know there are a bunch of new things in Heart of the Swarm, such as damage, and I don't know really, but I would definitely recommend you to put them always on, so you always see the health bars of all units in the game. Now, this might be a little bit weird when you're not used to it, but just enable it. It will help you out so damn much. So besides that, I don't think there's too much to have right here. You can enable a few more things that you might find use for yourself. I personally disabled the display experience numbers because I don't really care about that sort of thing, but it's not the biggest of deals. And next up, I believe social. Social, there are a bunch of people that are apparently blocked, but besides those, there aren't really any huge settings that you want to be taking a look at. Okay, now, before you actually start playing Heart of the Swarm, I would definitely advise you to take a look at those settings, because they just might make you a lot more effective in practicing. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an awesome day, don't forget to smile, and hopefully I will see you again, guys. Bye!